What's up, Deuterinos, and welcome to another episode of the OGs. Brought to you by the power of the Journey to Comics Network. It's been a while since I dropped that one down. In fact, you reminded me I haven't done that in a while. And to be fair, we've been a little bit out of practice in doing the OGs. We've done two, technically. One's a test run. This is a test run as well. We're still trying to work the kinks of this show in terms of presentation, because there's some things that we want to do with it. We tried one thing, we're trying this thing. We were going to try the first thing again on the second episode of, I don't know if it's a season or another part, episode 10. And learners, early new toy syndrome. You don't really, what does this button do? Well, Nate captured his audio twice, so he sounds literally like Mysterio.
I can.
Yeah. Oh, dude. As soon as I heard it, I was like, man, what did I do? Because I just assumed it was my fault, like hitting a wrong button in Vegas or something. But what it ended up like, as soon as I started hearing other spots, because of course I had to go to specifically when you would be speaking for a long section to hear it, to know that I have done the exact same thing on a podcast before. So.
Had no idea. Brando was completely clueless of it. It's funny because I saved the video and I was like, hey, man, do you have that video? Because I would like to delete it. It's a very large file on this computer and I want to get rid of it, man. Is it good? I hadn't even checked it. If I would have just double clicked the damn thing and listened for 30 seconds, as soon as you told me there was a problem, I did listen to it. And I was like, oh, come on. Like, that's such a rookie mistake. But again, you are right. I'm new with working with Streamlabs, and this is a totally different thing now that we're doing here today. So I'm excited to be back. I'm excited we're at episode 10.
Yeah.
Like
most podcasts don't make it to episode 10. That's what I've always said. It's like, it's always cool. We've had JIC, we've had Game Addicts make it past into the triple digits.
I'm pretty sure every podcast that I've been a part of, aside from the newest venture in Caniculture, all podcasts have just definitely went beyond 10 episodes for sure.
Well, that's good. That shows drive and your determination to make that into something. Same with this here. This whole show came together as a proposition to help out. I had a limited time window from the time that I would be available to a time that I would not be, and that's when this show kind of took a break. And then we kind of came in, we're like, all right, we're ready to hit the road running, and Brando's got some new ideas for stuff that he wants to do, and we're going to try this out. And then the entire world set itself on fire.
The Corona walls of Jericho. Bam. Oh shit, we're all crashed.
Oh man. And tell you what, whatever wall Trump decided that he wanted to build, that coronavirus broke the wall down. I had to.
If we were in the comic room right now, I mean, I know you, wherever you are, to me, I don't know in correlation, are you this way or that way? But anyways, you have the championship belt. I also, too, have championship belts, and mine's a dedication to Jericho. So I love that we just did the break the walls down thing. That's fucking an amazing start to this awesome podcast. So what's good in your world, dude? I know we're both quarantined, stuck at home, not doing shit.
Well, I mean, it sounds weird to talk about what's good in my world when there's so much bad going on in so many other people's world. And so I don't really want to focus on that too much. I have been staying at home. I do take this very... Okay, so my idea was also curtailed with doing this because this podcast has been built upon telling stories and having a laugh. Sure. That we literally can make each other laugh by telling any kind of story. It's not hard to get us to start laughing, but it's such a release because I felt like every time that we did one, I had a lot of fun. It's not that I don't have fun doing other shows. I absolutely do, but we're not always cracking up when we're talking about nerd stuff or video game stuff or whatever. It's just like when you can just sit there, relax, and just tell a story, and that's intended to just that for other people to find humorous, it's a little bit more relaxing of a show. that being said, these episodes were supposed to be released in a vacuum, where you could never really tell when and where we did it. Nothing to really timestamp it. It doesn't matter when it was released because of when, like, it's always going to be relatable. Us having stories about, people trying to break into your house, that's relatable, or, at least to somebody. Funny stories growing up or anything like that. That kind of changed with the coronavirus. Because now we are now stuck into, well, guys, we're trying to be optimistic because, like everything's falling apart. And it's like, what are we doing to what is good? It's like things are pretty decent in my neck of the woods. I'm healthy. We're staying home when we're taking this important because what started me down this long road of insanity. I follow this page on Facebook, and they're just like a content page where they do live streams and they do stuff and they have to post their rules from time to time. It's like, hey, guys, if you want to come into our chat, you want to comment, here's our rules. If you negate these rules, you will, be banned,
Sure.
And it's no shit stuff like racism, hate speech, anything like that.
Sexism, anything that's being an asshole.
Yeah. Yes. Don't be a prick, right?
Thank you.
Okay. There was a new one on here.
Oh.
And it made me want to beat my head against the wall.
No Carol Baskins hate.
Yeah. It says, we are pro-quarantine and we accept COVID-19 as a real threat, claiming conspiracy theories, claiming that the virus isn't a threat, or promoting and advocating for protests in public that go against stay-at-home orders is not allowed. They, in their rules, had to state this because if they had to have had it's like when you get a bottle of hairspray or a can of hairspray, and it says, do not spray this in front of an open flame. Probably because somebody did at some point.
Burnt their face the fuck off.
Flamethrower.
Whoa.
And then they're like, we got to put a warning on that thing, tell people not to do that. Because we had a guy, he tried to sue us.
There was a guy. He was pissed. He only had a third of his face. He was very angry.
Very angry.
His single line smile was very menacing.
Oh, no. Whatever hair he was trying to do is now gone.
Somebody's going to think we're assholes for telling jokes about people that have been burned, but there's not a real person, so we're telling a fake story. Fuck you. Anyways, go on.
I've been seeing this stuff on the news. That there's a segment of people who don't buy in to the hype that it's, and I'll be one of the first guys to say that you should turn your TV off. If all you're going to watch is sit there and watch network news, turn it off. Turn it off.
Don't have news on in your house. This is the longest I've been without listening to the news because you don't need it. The shit is the exact same. Go on to your different websites, see what the things are, if death tolls are rising or falling, see how the country is doing, the whole entire globe is doing. Pay attention to that stuff from afar, but don't get lost in the is it, isn't it, what's the better idea, who has the better solution. Oh my God, Texas is going to reopen tomorrow. Like, it's a terrible idea. Think about it. Just think for a second. You can't smash everything back into the way it was because you're going to hyper, like, adrenalize, as it were, the entire infection. You're going to just pump it with everything it needs to spread the contagion. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So I sent our beloved fellow host on the Journey to Comics Network, Dick Blaine-Tyner. He's a host of the Podcastrophe.
Mr. 30%.
I sent him a picture today, and it said, breaking news. Atlanta has announced its plans to reopen the city now that they have a 28-3 lead on COVID-19.
Oh, a good Patriots Super Bowl joke.
And we all know how that ended.
Terribly. Horrendously.
I have not seen a single meme that sums up the importance of what we're doing. You know, the thing is that whatever has been done, whatever we're doing that is slowing this thing and not letting our healthcare system become more overrun than it is because we're listening and because the states have done their thing. You know,
sure.
I think I mentioned it. I think it was on Journey to Wrestling. When there was that little when WWE got declared essential, and there was some conjecture going on online about Linda McMahon and being in Trump, working for a Trump super PAC, and I kind of shut that down, saying that as much as there's some conspiracy theory to be going on there, the federal government's been pretty much out. They have had no power over what the states are doing for both negative and positive. Like, but by them staying out of it, a lot of these states like have been able to very smartly do the right thing and not have to worry about, you know, what the federal government wants to do. However, they've also been getting involved in the mix with supplies and other crap, and also
protests.
Yes, and trying to spur ahead, like basically pseudo use a pandemic to further your political aspirations. Yeah, no, BS, complete BS.
It's foolish because you have right now it's bigger than what you politically stand for. Red, blue, green, teal, whatever fuck your color is. It doesn't matter to me personally. You like what you like, but like right now it's a people thing, and we are a species. And guess what? Like any other species on the planet, in an instant, we could be wiped out. Like nothing. Like there's no regret. Just like Thanos did in the fucking Infinity War, man. Just boom, it's over. You know. So like, for me, the thing that really drives me insane in all of this is that you have these people that are defying the order. They're going out. They're protesting in large groups. I don't know if you saw Texas. Your favorite friend in Texas. Did you see what was happening in Texas? Alex Jones is shaking hands with every person at the protest. Oh, man. Like, they should just take a picture of that moment and literally just go, this is how COVID is spread. The end. Because that is like the perfect PSA of how it is spread. It's that simple. Handshake, touch, come into close contact. It doesn't matter. You know, Brandon might not feel sucky from having COVID-19. He might not even know he has the symptoms, and then he's got somebody in his family he goes and visits, and they get all fucked up because of it, because they don't have a good immune system. And that's the whole point of this thing, and that's what really gets on my nerves is these people that are protesting. It's like, look, natural selection is coming for you all. That is what is going to happen here. And my hope is that natural selection doesn't unfortunately take out some of the good people that had nothing to do with the stupidity of these other people.
So apparently there is a huge conspiracy theory that Bill Gates is propagating a forced inoculation depopulation plan. So in other words, they're going to inject us with the vaccine for the COVID-19, and that's going to basically kill off a large portion of the population. And somehow Bill Gates is involved.
Wow, he's got a lot of time on his hands to take and go, hey, all those people that give me money, fuck them. I'd rather they be dead. Like, that makes no sense. It's like me saying, hey, look at this delicious knife that I cut my dinner with. Let me just stab myself. Oh, fuck, what did I do that?
So look, are you still...
Pepsi's gone? That's some bullshit.
Yeah, dude, I'm rocking some of that. It's made by the same company, or at least bottled by the same company.
Moon juice?
No, well, no, it's Brisk. It's basically Arnold Palmer tea and lemonade.
Ooh. Dude, speaking of tea and lemonade, let me tell you, the Padre, the Pod Daddy, Pod King Nate, whatever the fuck you want to call me, the Tiger Pod King, I don't care, whatever. You weren't ready for that one, motherfucker, were you? I've been making homemade lemonade, bro. It's absolutely been one of my favorite things. You know, I just fresh squeeze 6 lemons and then do a hot water sugar mixture and then let it sit overnight. And it's bee's knees, man. The bee's knees.
So one of the things that I've been doing, I played through Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I'm not done yet. I just fought Roche officially,
Roche?
not the highway chase. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the I was able to get the game digitally because my physical copy didn't show up until around the same time yours did.
Hey,
I'm pretty sure. I'm actually gonna look up to see when you sent me that picture because oh no.
did I tell you the circumstances of getting that game? How I did a store pickup in this new time, and it was a new experience for me for sure.
I think so. And yes, you sent me that on, was it last Wednesday?
Yeah, it was exactly a week ago because I missed Dynamite to go pick that up.
Okay, so mine came in the mail that day.
Weird.
Release day was the Friday before, and it was Amazon. Amazon slowed it down because of all the stuff that's going on. I ain't mad about it. I had enough money to be able to buy another copy, so that 3.5 million that they have shipped in 3 days, 2 of those are mine.
Plus 2 to me.
Just, hey, it is what it is. So what was cool about it though is that, like, if you would have pre-ordered that at that GameStop, you would have got a Shinra employee card. That's what Mike got. Mike had no idea he was even getting it. It's a little extra. With me, with my pre-order bonus, it was a PlayStation 4 theme, which is kind of cool.
On PS Plus, right?
I don't think it's available to everybody. It might be, but anyway, it's a PS Plus, or it's a PS4 theme that is an animated. It's got Sephiroth with the flames.
Ooh.
Well, it's Sephiroth. It's basically the. It is the Steelbook cover.
Amazing.
So there's a Shinra building behind him standing there with the flames, and you see the embers, and then it's got the Shinra theme playing if you have music activated, which I don't, but I turned it on to see if there was anything. So I powered through that game on my first playthrough.
How many hours did you play?
I think it was 34 to 36. And I missed a few things. All right, so day 1, I put in 12 hours.
Hell yeah.
Day 2, I put in another 12 hours, -2 for having to replay 2 hours that I did the night before, because suddenly my game audio was not in the stream or the recording for the last 2-hour portion, which was very
bullshit.
Very, very, very much anger for me, but I redid it first thing the next morning, got it done. Other than I missed like a couple of side stuff. I skipped it because I had already done it once and didn't want to do it again. I beat the game. I still had a few things that I didn't complete. So what's cool about it is that when you do beat the game, you unlock 2 things. First of all is hard mode. Second of all, it's chapter select. And you're able to start these chapters from the beginning with all your levels and your materia and your equipment.
Nice.
And replay them and to get all the stuff that you missed. And you could choose your difficulty: easy, normal, hard. So I just started on chapter 1, normal. And I've just been working on mastering my materia, gaining my extra levels. I'm still at level 41. And also, those first few levels you go through are going to be a super joke. By the point, yeah, I was wondering how different it was going to be. No, it was a cakewalk for some of the stuff. So I've been doing that, and then so my second playthrough has been a lot more leisurely. There's been a couple days where I didn't play entirely, but I've been having a lot of fun with it because it's kind of hard to talk. How much of the original game did you play? Did you ever beat it?
Yeah, I beat the OG FF7, and I also watched you beat it at least once.
Okay, because so where you're at in the story, what do you think of how they're doing it?
I mean, I love the translation of the game and the flow of it. I love how everything is more fluid with the battle system and whatnot. I did have fun summoning Cactar, which was a great bonus to have. Like, I had to. It was just too funny not to. All in all, I'm interested in what's going on with these moments where things are blipping and we're getting the past. It's not. It doesn't translate to me as the old game, and I know that seems like they're. So I'm not sure what they're telling there. And I think you said there was something that's happening that's like a bigger narrative. But I hope to find out soon.
We are going to talk again when you beat the game.
Sure, sounds good.
So, and that's pretty much all I will say. What I for where you're at, up until that point that we know what I'm talking about. I love the extra stuff that we got with Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse.
Yes,
because they are like in the original game, they're not really important characters. They are in the very beginning because they're there. But like, if anybody who's never played the original game, that's kind of a spoiler. Something bad happens to them. So what I really like is that we now know who Jesse was. We now know
her importance to Cloud. Yes.
Well, like not only that, but her importance to the overall story. Why is she doing what she's doing?
Sure.
You know? And I love that. I'm like, this is amazing. Even if, and I told this to one of my friends that I do a podcast with, Jeremy from In-Game Boss Program. I told him, even if in the subsequent releases of this, they take a left turn and drive the FF7 train down a cliff, and it blows up in a fiery blaze, and everyone's like, they ruined one of the most special games of all time. It's dead to me, right? If they ever do that for me, there are things that they did in this game, extra things that they've added in that will forever be headcanon for me, and that is one of them. The more background to Jessie's character fleshes her out so much, and like that alone, like in the first early hours, was like, wow.
Really quickly, I want to say that one thing. There's only one thing about the game that throws me off just a tiny pinch. Can you guess what it is?
No.
Badger.
Okay.
I can't not hear him as Badger, man. So every time Wedge talks, I'm just like, okay, Badger.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Badger. Do your thing, Badger. Sure.
Yeah. That was funny.
When being a Breaking Bad fan, it just stuck. It's stuck there.
When I first played the demo, and I knew that it was him because I heard his voice when they first did the reveal, but I forgot and went, oh yeah, Badger's Wedge. I'm like, I forgot about that. And they've expanded his character too. He's really into cats.
Yes, I love that when you follow him home after the one mission and he's got all his cats there, and man,
like he just gets he gets distracted. Woohoo! Come here! All these little cats. He's like, come here! Oh, you're playing hard to get. He loves his cats. Biggs. They've done Biggs up, and he kind of he looks like Charlie Sheen.
A little bit, yeah, like Red Dawn Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, Red Dawn Charlie Sheen, a little bit with the bandana. I'm like, okay, I see what you're going for here.
Yeah, red bandanas for those three characters.
I will say my favorite character out of the entire game for the remake is Barrett.
Definitely. I love the expansion of Barrett so far, and Ollie was amazed when I got to play as Barrett. He was like, oh my God, you can control him. I was like, yeah, it's going to be awesome.
What's cool is that in the settings, you can actually change the party leader in the menu. So that way, when you start battle, you always start as your wanted character.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I was playing through again. Also, one of the things I didn't know is that when you're out of battle, and you just want to use your potions because it's a lot easier just to save those for when you're out of battle and healing up when you don't have a bench around the corner like it was always happened to me. Like I would I'd use all my potions and then, oh, there's a damn bench right over there. Okay. Which I dubbed those Forrest Gump benches during my stream, like Forrest Gump bench.
Yeah.
We just had a really heavy moment, guys. I need to sit down and really take this in. Cloud, we just literally walked into the building. It was it was like 2 dungeons getting inside this place.
It took a long time for us to fight those 3 guys.
Man. Well, that's another thing is that like the big boss fights, I fought one of them for over 20 minutes.
Which one? Or is that a spoiler?
It's not a super spoiler. It's something that you have to do in the game later. I'm like, they took a normal enemy from the original game.
Sure.
And they turned it into a big boss fight because it's kind of a weird enemy to fight anyway.
Sure.
And so they kind of hit you with it. You're like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. Oh, crap. First time through, I struggled. You only have 2 characters in your party, like during this time. So you're like, wow, man, this is tough. Second time through,
easy peasy lemon squeezy because you're all leveled up and stuff.
I'm like, eat my shit.
Hell yeah.
And Barrett's awesome. He only gets better.
Sure.
As the story goes on, the voice actor that voiced him nails it every time, every line. And one of my favorite lines, in the original game, because this part isn't a spoiler, because that a certain thing comes crashing down at some point.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a certain someone that he is very upset that could have been caught in that. Little.
A little messy.
Mm-hmm. And it's no spoiler to us that she's not. She's okay. But he doesn't. But he doesn't know that. That scene.
Especially as a parent, bro. Had to just they crush you.
And it was one of the few scenes that really brought me to like tears in my eyes as I watched it live. And there's a scene right after that. Well, it's like, hey, she might be okay, What? He's like, where? It's like, well, Aerith said that she found her. Okay. Well then, so where are we going? Going to Aerith's mom's house. And she's there? I don't know. I hope so. And then he's like, just tell me she is. Give me something. I need something to hang on to. If she's not, I promise I won't get mad. He goes, who am I kidding? I'd probably try to tear your head off.
Oh.
It was just like that one little, like, he was so impassioned, and it just like that one thing, I'm like, gosh dang, man, they're taking his character so much further. And there's a scene later on that's not like any of their, it's no one voice actor or one character. There's a scene later on that made my jaw drop with how well they did it. And it's something that isn't in the original game.
Ooh.
And I see, I got tears in my eyes thinking about that thing from earlier that were welling up. But no, this thing was like, whoa. This is
awesome.
This is fucking, because what is Shinra? They are a fascist company. They are a company that started in arms production, making weapons, and they shifted into being an energy company. And now they pretty much control the entire world, with their main capital city being Midgar. And what is a company like that going to do to try to convince people what they're doing is the right thing? And that's propaganda. And that was like, whoa, they did it in such a way that it would be exactly what you would think that company would be telling people.
Awesome.
Wow. Yeah, it's a great game. It's a freaking phenomenal game. And now my eyes are stinging because I wiped my eyes with my hand.
You have the worst luck with your eyes anyways, bro.
Well,
it's no secret.
I've got the glaucoma, and it causes them to kind of like get puffy and irritable a little bit. And so when my eyes start to water, and I wipe them, they start to sting real bad sometimes. So there's that. It's like anytime I want to get emotional, I better go all in because I'm just going to keep crying anyway.
Hell yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No, man, honestly, if we're talking about FF7, the first 3.5 minutes of playing it, I had tears rolling off of my cheeks. I just, like, it wasn't even controllable, dude. Just being in that environment and actually experiencing it for real, and it being, because I didn't download the demo. I chose to hold off. I said, no, I don't want to be, teased and then have to wait and then have no idea if it's still going to come out with all the craziness that's happening. And then once it was like, okay, it's actually coming out, I was like, okay, I got to get myself a copy and do whatever I can. And I'm really grateful to have gotten a copy, and that was an awesome birthday gift to get. But I also think it's awesome that we've been playing so many different video games during the quarantine in the house. Like Ollie is 80% complete with the first Uncharted.
Oh, that's cool.
On his own. I've done very little. Like I helped him with maybe 2 puzzles, I think. So he's figuring it out, man.
When I can scratch the Switch away from my wife because she is playing Animal Crossing.
Oh, collection of mana.
This is Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Trials of Mana, which we never got over here. But they're actually remaking Trials, and it's coming out, or it has come out.
Just by itself. Yeah, I just saw something about that recently.
Yep, but these are the original Game Boy for Final Fantasy Adventure, and then Super Nintendo for the other two. And yeah, I bought those around Christmas time. I got that. I think it was like $20 at Best Buy. They're having a deal on some Square Enix stuff. And,
not bad.
And I got that for $20, and it was normally like 40. It was like 50% off. So like it was like a no-brainer because like in a solo cartridge, Secret of Mana goes for like $40 to $50 by itself. So there, I have a copy of it, and I can and so when I can wrestle it away, I've been playing some of that. But no, it's been mostly FF7. Well, no, I actually during my time in quarantine, isolation, whatever, I actually did get a cool 1-week trial of PlayStation Now that was been sitting in my inbox since February.
Sure.
Sony was like, "Hey, you want to have another free?" Like it's almost like Hank Hill. "Hey there, Brandon. I saw you had one of those free trials over there in PS Now, and well, here's another one if you want to give it a try again. We've kind of revamped it, and it's now only $10 instead of $20.
And if you get it, I'll throw in a thing of propane.
I'll get you some propane." And I'm like, well, let's give it a try. I downloaded 2 games, and I didn't get to play the second one before my 1-week trial was up because FF7. So I was playing Mafia 3.
Nice.
Which I'd never played any of the Mafia games. I watched Rob play the first one and whatever a long time ago. And I was really digging it. It's set in the late 60s. You play as a black man coming home from Vietnam. He was in Special Forces. And it's set in a fictionalized New Orleans with the Mafia running things. And he's taking them all fucking down.
Nice.
They done him wrong. So, no, it was... And then the soundtrack was perfect because it was nothing...
You're going downer!
Oh, my gosh. All right.
I just broke Brando. That's great. You want an onion? You're going downer.
Before I continue, before we go with this, because this is a transition right here, motherfucker. It's a transition. So no, the soundtrack's great. Period. Creedence Clearwater, a lot of that. Especially down in there in the bayou. You got a little bit of Jimi Hendrix, Rolling Stones. You got Johnny Cash, Aretha Franklin, James Brown. They're all here, and it's all like from that late 19s, early to like late 60s. Era of music, yeah. And it's all fits the setting, and it's all awesome music. I love it. But this is it furniture going down and down. Okay, so we found a bunch of old commercials on YouTube, right? And have you ever watched like Good Mythical Morning?
Once in a while.
Rhett and Link. They had a show on IFC a long time ago where they would actually film commercials for people, right?
Okay.
And it would be a funny local style of commercial, kind of like in the vein of This Is It Furniture. And there was some funny ass, there was like, there's this one where it was called the Red House. At the Red House, where white people and black people buy furniture. And watching that made me laugh so hard. And I was telling my wife about This Is It Furniture. I'm like, he was this angry ass dude shouting at the camera. It's like, you want couches? We're going downer. And he'd smack something. He'd be breaking sticks. And
don't forget, if you come and buy something, you get a free onion.
Oh man. And so they have commercials on YouTube. They're there. This Is It Furniture. Downer, downer, downers. Search it. You'll find them.
Amazing.
And it's hilarious because originally it wasn't called This Is It Furniture. It was called Downer Furniture. And I found old commercials. I found newer ones.
Ooh.
And it's like, and we watched so many of them that the other day in Wyatt's room, he's in there playing with his iPad. And he's just running around his room, and I just hear him going, downer, downer, downer.
I had no way of knowing that was happening. That's an amazing coincidence.
Oh my gosh.
Up into the air.
Oh man, we laughed so hard at him doing that. Coming on down here, This Is It Furniture, where you always get a free onion.
Free onion.
Oh man. Shout out to This Is It Furniture. They still in Champaign, Illinois?
Champagne.
Well, you know what? I've never been there myself, but a shout out to you guys. You guys filled me with memories from my childhood of seeing your commercials way back when.
I just remember their store was right next door to the old Ants in Your Pants in Champaign that I used to go to.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah,
I remember that.
Dog. Okay, and then so my brain meets if I'm walking in the place. Like I remember that it was like to the left a little bit. They had the gigantic spider web thing with all the elastic bands that you would just fall down, just like and then go through it and whatnot. And then like you had there was some sort of like waterlog game thing. I can't really remember too much there, but like really the main attraction for me at Ants Your Pants was always that fucking spider elastic thing.
Yeah,
it's the only thing I can really remember, but.
Oh yeah, I remember like because you could like climb up it, and there was like this tunnel to go into like a ball pit.
Yeah.
But like from the ball pit area, there was no way to climb back up into that tunnel really, other than like the netting, which we really couldn't get a good grip on. But no, it was like the challenge of trying to like. I was always worried one of those elastic things was gonna snap and kill me. Like
same, bro. I was like, oh, or that they would just all break and I would just fall to my death. It's just like, oh, this kid, he weighs no weight. He's gonna die now. Here we go. Of course, if I did it right now, like me now, no, I probably would break it.
Oh my gosh, we went on a walk today, and I was tired.
Nice.
I got tired. I have not.
That's probably not good. But
no,
that's okay.
It isn't good. I have not been that active. I forced myself to go out and like weed eat today. I haven't had like any desire to do anything. And it's one thing when I can, say, well, this is my big FF7 plan. I'm gonna play it and I'll beat it. Well, it's beaten.
You have beat it. It is beated.
It's beaten. I'm not in a rush to beat it again.
It's like your dick on a Tuesday morning. You've already taken care of it. No need to rush back.
Oh, but I put off mowing for like 2 weeks, and I finally mowed, and I felt better about myself. And I'm like, I'm not weed eating right now. That my battery's got to charge. And I'm like, and the next day it was like 50 degrees. I'm like, it's too cold. And then today it was like 62, 63. I'm like, it's good enough to do it. And I had enough charge to do my driveway in the front of my house because these are old batteries and I'm not buying new stuff. But I want to do work on the back, and it's just like, I need to get myself out there and do it. And it's like, Hey, guess what? Tomorrow is rain. So guess what I ain't doing? Nothing. Nothing. Yes, nothing. And honestly, like, I didn't expect to be home for this long. That's the long and short of it. And it's like some people I know have been trying to stay busy, do some yard work, do some work on their cars. I don't have that kind of stuff. I have a yard, but it really hasn't been that ideal too many days for going out and messing with it.
Not yet. It hasn't officially peaked where we are consistently in warm, decent weather.
Yeah, there for a while. Like, there's one day it got up to like 80 something, and like it would have been like, so like I was out doing stuff a little bit there, but it was just like, dude, like we went for a walk. That's where I got my Arnold Palmer. Walked down there, and I'm walking back, and I noticed I'm huffing a little bit, like, yep.
Brando's like, time to bust out We Fit. That's a game I can play.
Yep. If I make it to a fidget game, I might be able to lose some weight. I'm gonna stand on that thing, and it's gonna go, ouch.
Get off me.
That fucking Wii Fit board's gonna be like
board abuse.
It's gonna be like Garfield's scale, like Garfield's scale's a fucking dick.
Oh yeah,
from those old Garfield comic strips. It's like that damn scale's talking all kinds of shit to him.
He has a fat cat who likes lasagna and hates Mondays. I mean, he's my spirit animal. Fuck.
Yeah, right.
I get that on a personal level, bro.
Like, dude, like today. Oh my. All right. So like during the FF7 marathon, if you will, I slept on the couch. FF7 was my mistress there for a couple of days. She was afraid of like waking up the baby. Baby was sleeping in our room because baby does crash back here, for most nights that I'm not using it. Like tonight, he's going to be sleeping in our room. But I did tell her I'm going to be quiet, going to bed. And then I'm probably going to go to sit my bottle of water down and it's going to fall. God.
I have a story about that, actually. I have a real story about that. So we did Journey into Wrestling last week or whatever it was.
Went really late, didn't we?
Went really late, really long, and I got really yelled at, and not excited looks. Not yelled at, but just like, hey, like you were back there for like 5 hours pretty much. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize it was that long, but okay. Now that I've taken into account the time, like, oh shit, it's bad. So I get done with the podcast and I go out to the living room and everybody is asleep. Young Frankenstein is on. All the lights are off. So it's just like Young Frankenstein is the TV and it's illuminating. And I'm like, oh, well, now I'm done with the comic room, I can set Ali's bed up, get the bedroom ready. I'll bring him in and then he can sleep. So I start working on that. V comes in and she puts him down in there. And I'm like, you go get yourself together. I'll handle putting him the rest of the way to bed. So I get everything together and I'm leaving the room and I've got the lights out. I've got him tucked in nicely. Everything is perfect and glorious. Okay. I go to shut the door very softly, and behind the door for like the past 5 years, they've never moved for any circumstance or any reason, is the extra brackets for my shelving. That in this instant, very loudly, decided to knock over all the fucking posters and everything and just crash. So I'm like, oh, fuck. I just was quiet for a second, like no sound, stunned. He doesn't move. And I just like angrily picked up all the shit and cleaned it up while he was still sleeping. But it was just like, of course, I did all this extra care to be as silent as humanly possible. I shut the door and it's like boom, big ass crash. And I'm like, no.
Oh my gosh.
My nightmare. It's my real nightmare. That's really happened.
Oh man. Yeah. So there was a movie, a remake of a movie. It's weird how you think of certain things to like associate to certain events or like, and it's like Disney Plus has the movie The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes on their network or on their streaming service.
Sure.
The original one had a young Kurt Russell, pre-Snake Plissken, hanging out and doing his thing, getting struck by lightning while he was working on a computer, and he became real smart. Okay, cool. The remake, they did like a made-for-TV remake back in the 90s. I had Kirk Cameron from Growing Pains. So he was in it, you know. So it's not. I mean, it's like a Disney thing. It's not like It's not anything that's like, you know, risque for a man of his, for a man of his stature to do, if you know what I'm talking about. Well, in the remake, he got struck by lightning, and then he went to go. The next day he goes to take a test, right? And he's just like, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. I know this stuff, you know. And he gets done, and he doesn't realize that he's like did this so fast, right? So he's just sitting there like in his chair, and it's like every noise is like amplified by 10.
Oh,
he's just like
no.
Screech. And there's a scene where he's like, I'm bored. So he takes out these bag of potato chips. It's like the loudest chip munching. And his like one of his roommates is like, dude, stop. What? And yeah, so the moment that I think of trying to be quiet, and then everything I do is like sitting there trying to get into bed, right? You know, when I go to bed, this is how bad it's gotten. I have to be listening to something to fall asleep now.
Yeah.
It's typically random assortments of podcasts, or even like video game streamers, like their VOD on their YouTube channels when they're playing through a game or whatever. I'll just turn it on really low, and I can hear them playing the game. It's especially helpful for streamers that like to talk about the games or talk with their chat about the game, not just going, "Whoa, that was neat," or "Whoa, whatever, what was that?" And then I'm listening to the game. A lot
37 minutes of silence other than the gameplay.
Right, like here lately, I've been listening to this guy play through the Phoenix Wright trilogy that's on the Switch.
Hell yeah!
And he's talking about it and talking to his chat, but of course there's no voice acting, so it just I just hear the music and then I hear him talking, and then after about 5 or 10 minutes I'm asleep. So it's like, it's basically, if it's anything that's super interesting to me, I can't listen to it, because then I'll be too interested into that and I want to go to sleep. It's got to be dull enough it's got to be interesting enough to capture my attention, but dull enough that I can doze off to it. It's kind of weird, fine line. But I'll be sitting there put my little earbuds in, and before I turn the music,
just describe the entire network. Just interesting enough, but not too interesting. I mean, I hate that I'm ribbing on myself, but I thought that was a good shot.
Are you telling me that's going on like one of the next shirts?
Maybe. Interesting enough, but not that interesting.
That sounds like, do you remember I had those ideas to do those kind of like commercial spoofs?
I still want to do them.
Yeah. I think that'd be a cool, Journey into Comics Network. Interesting enough to fall asleep to, but also dull enough to fall asleep to. Yes. Oh, man. But, I have those headphones in, and before I hit play, it's like everything going, because it's something in your ear, so now everything is it's so amplified. It's like, I'm breathing so loud. My gosh. And it's like, I gotta, you know how you do, you get into bed, you're trying to find your spot. You're where's my spot? Right here. Here's my spot. It's at a point now, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I get into bed, right? I got my blankie. I got my blanket.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I take the blanket and I fold it in a little bit and tuck it underneath this elbow.
Sure.
Because sometimes I fall asleep with my arm, it's right on the edge, right on the edge of the bed.
Sure.
And it can fall and stay that way. Have you ever had that happen where you slept for 8 hours and then your arm is dead.
Two things. One, no. Just no. Because two things. One, my bed is not long enough off the ground to hang my whole ass arm. Like my wrist, maybe my wrist would be hanging like, hey, you know, like I was, but like, and then three, I sleep in the middle of the bed, so my arms won't reach both sides. They can't.
I woke up one morning and my alarm was going off, and I went to go.
You're like, my arm does not work at all.
I'm like, and then I'm like, what the hell? My arm, and I can't lift it up. So I reached over it, grab it, and it goes. I'm like, holy shit! It is like
this
a wet noodle.
Bad.
It was a wet noodle, dude. And like I could not feel my arm. It was gone. I seriously thought that I Dave Mustaine myself. If you remember that,
I was just getting ready to ask you.
How, like he fell asleep.
Yourself?
I'm like, oh my god, what did I do? And I'm like, I'm doing like the pro wrestling, like caught in a sleeper hold. The 1, 2, come back, come on, man, you gotta don't fail me, 3, he's out, ring the bell. I'm like, okay, you can stop selling. And then as soon as I'm thinking that, pinpricks.
Oh no, because you're asleep and you're starting to feel it.
Oh, the blood's rushing back to it. Oh no. Oh, foe. So I'm laying there in bed going,
Peter Griffin. Ow, 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 ow.
And I'm like, I can't make any noise because she'll kill me. Because she'll be like, what's wrong? I'm like, my hand's asleep. She'd be like, you.
What's a worse noise to hear in the morning? Like early morning at the house. Is it worse to hear your cat start to puke or the doorbell ring?
We don't have a doorbell.
Well, fuck you, because that gives me anxiety when I hear my doorbell. I'm like, who is brave enough to knock on my door at 7 a.m. in this area of the world? Must be important. Go check the cameras and then see that's not important.
Jehovah's Witness. Okay. In fact, we have a no soliciting sign. It's like
I made one.
It's like a graphic thing or like a vinyl thing. You know, like when she made those vinyl stuff for us way back in the day.
Yeah.
She made a no soliciting where it's like we don't need God. We bought a Kirby. Unless you're selling cookies, leave us alone. And we've had because we used to have some old ladies. They came to our house one time like, would you like to come to our church? And my wife's like, we're atheists. And she's like, well, okay, you're still welcome. Okay.
I don't think that's how this works, but all right. You're not getting my money, fucko.
Oh, man, there's this one old dude. I think he's still alive. I don't know. That's such a weird way to frame the story. His name's Raymond. And we met him. I forgot about this part. We met him because we were getting ready to leave to go work out at a gym.
Okay, yes.
That's a setup for a story I should not be telling.
I was going to say, I don't know. Is this really you or is this Earth 2, Brando?
No. This is Earth 1. Trust me, by the end of the story, it'll fit. So we had a membership at Planet Fitness. And
fitness sub in my mouth. Ow.
You know, in the judge free zone. And we were going to go work out. Okay. You know, whatever. Let's go. Let's get this thing started, right? I need it. We're leaving, and there's this old dude riding by on a bike, and he says hello. We say hello back. And then we're stuck in a 45-minute conversation. One of those guys. And what this guy does, he rides his bike everywhere, and he goes to the church right down the road. And after church on Sunday afternoon, late, like evening, you know, like 5, 6, because this is about 6 o'clock we were going to go. Granted, remember, we were on second shift at this time. So for us, this is like we woke up at like 3, 3 or 4.
Totally.
So it's still pretty early for us. And well, he rides his bike down to the nursing home, and talks that religious stuff with them. Okay, cool, fine. They can't go to church and whatnot. They're in a nursing home.
They also can't escape.
No, they can't escape. Yeah.
So if he starts talking to them, they're just kind of stuck.
Oh my gosh. Well, and we were too, and we weren't even wheelchair bound. So it's like you're like, what did we do? Because we tried to leave. We tried to get out of there for for like 10 minutes. We just couldn't leave. And he told us a story about because he was trying to invite us to his church, and we're just like, that's not really us, And he goes, well, I tell you this, I'll tell you how good of a guy our reverend is. He goes, we were gonna go on some. He's telling me a story about how him and his wife were gonna go on some sort of road trip, right?
Sure.
Like, going on this road trip, and I spent all morning, getting the car ready. Got up real early, about 5 o'clock in the morning. About 6, I'm out there cleaning the car out and getting it ready to go. He goes, and then I started feeling hungry, so I rode my bike down to the village pantry, and I got me. He got him a Diet Pepsi and some Suzy Q's.
Okay.
You say so he got home. His daughter was there, and she was talking and visiting, and he was eating and drinking his Diet Pepsi. And next thing you know, he just started feeling all kinds of awful. And they started getting worried about him, so they decided to take him to the hospital. And they called an ambulance. They called the Reverend. The Reverend beat them there. The Reverend was there waiting on him. And they had him back in the ER. Doctor was getting ready to look at him again, or they're talking about hooking him up, and all of a sudden he felt better. He said that Reverend was out there in the waiting room praying on me, and the touch of God hit me that day. And I felt moved by his story because he actually had legit tears in his eyes. Like, he was like, this guy thought enough of me to, and I commend that guy. That guy's a good at what he's putting himself to, even though I don't follow religion or anything like that. This guy, he has a place of worship that people come to. He has a community, and he is there for his community. Good. That's a good man on my hand. I don't care what you're in, it's like,
sure. There you go.
But I didn't have the heart to tell this old man that he just gave himself like a sugar attack. Like essentially he just spiked his blood sugar. He went into this dude was old, and basically he needed a good 30 minutes for his entire system to calm down, and that's what happened. But so
I love he gave himself a sugar high and got all fucked up and ended up in the doctors.
Yeah.
Like, dumbass, man.
Hey,
Just use your brain.
We kind of laugh it off, get in the car, we leave, we're talking about this guy, and then we get to Planet Fitness, and they're closed because it was Easter Sunday.
That's hilarious. And you can't write a better story. You couldn't plan that better. I mean, come on, let's be real.
So we didn't end up working out after all. Everything is back to normal. The whole story of Brando.
Let there be light.
Where Brando says, this story starts with us getting ready to go to the gym. And you're just like, well, what? It's okay. All's well that ends well. Nobody worked out at all.
My buddy, he's a comedian. We went to his stand-up special before all this shit happened. We got to be up there for his taping. And one of his jokes, it killed me. He's like, so if you go to Planet Fitness, they have pizza Mondays and bagel Tuesdays, or as I call them, the only days I go to Planet Fitness. I just thought that was great. Like, yeah, I'll go for free pizza and free bagels, and then I'll leave and I'll have to work out and I'll get free shit. That's cool. Like, winning.
Well, but, we went a few times, but then we just kind of lost the gumption to go all the way into town because we have to drive to Lafayette for it. So it's like, sure, we both liked it, but it was just like, I don't know. So we kind of stopped doing it. But yeah, I just love how that story begins with us getting ready to go to the gym, and we don't even work out at the end of it. We just the ending fits the rest of our story.
Hell yeah,
overall. Oh.
So Brando, the last time we got together, we attempted to tell some funny stories about our jobs and shit we've been through. That will never see the light of day because of my stupid microphone drama. And some of those stories are funny, but funnier if we let time go by and forget about some of them. So I have some other good ones queued up. If you want to do that, I don't know what we're doing with our episode. I don't even know how long we've been talking. It feels like we've been here for 5 minutes. So
We have been talking for an hour. We have officially hit an hour of record time on this podcast, and with the other layout, I would have cut it off here. And to be fair, this episode does kind of feel like it's got a nice little bit of a tie up, and we can save those job stories for the next one, because it would just feel like
sure
we're gonna talk about those again at some point, yeah. But then we can almost kind of like tie this one up, and then we'll start fresh on the other one. This one was almost like we did episode 9. Was that episode 9 the one that we did? When like it was the first of the trials. Maybe this one should be official episode 9, where like this is like the first one that we put out. We're kind of back doing this. We're gonna episode 10, we'll go ahead and release the one that we already did as episode 10. Just note, preface, this was recorded before any of this got real bad.
True, definitely true. Yeah, man, I'm fine with that. If we want to wrap this thing up, I'll volley it back to you to take us home.
All right, guys. Well, this has been the OGs. This is two shows where two cats like Nate and Brando get together and we just talk, and we talk about the world around us. Is it a discussion show? Do we tell stories? Yes, we do all of that. We're hoping that you get to come and listen to us and escape from your world for a little while. What? Like, what are you laughing at? You just making faces at yourself again?
Yeah. I was just trying to see if you would notice. That's literally all I was doing. It's just
I'm just over here. I'm just like, what are you doing? Before we started, he was just sitting there making faces at himself because he could see. It's like a cat looking at himself in the mirror the first time. Ah! Get out of here!
I was just like, it's just funny. I don't know. Anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, yeah, we tell stories and we try to make each other laugh. We try to make you guys laugh too. This show really isn't 100% topical. We don't talk about just anything like movies or games or anything. We talk about more what's been going on with us, what's going on with our lives, and then try to break down that barrier, try to tell some funny stories along the way. That's how this show is probably going to go forward. And, we're trying to get our foot back in the game here, try to find something that works for a presentation. I actually really dig this. We had very, very few problems going through, on the recording end, because we got to do this over like some sort of video call thing. So we've tried every single one. Our internet is not 100% compatible. So if there's a little bit of, loss and lag, that's fine, but we can't have people dropping in and out of the call. That's tune into the Supercast if you want to see everybody dropping in and out all the time.
Like fucking Brady Bunch, Brando.
Oh, I know.
I'm here.
Yep.
I don't know what those movements were. They were kind of bad when I realized. Yeah.
No, but we're going to come at you with some more episodes and some more stories. We're going to try and dial down an exact release time and day. As we record this, we still don't even know, but we'll get that stuff figured out and get to releasing these shows probably about once every other week once we get back into it. So, Nate, thank you so much for being on this episode. I think it went well. I'm going to upload it instantly and send it over your way to check it out because we're still testing stuff out.
Trying new things, Brando. We got to do it. And I think now we're really going to be able to fine tune and hone in our ability to podcast together because this is the least drama we've had doing a show ever.
In some whiles, yeah. Hopefully everything on my end records correctly because you aren't recording at all. And if you haven't been recording this whole time and it's just me talking into the microphone to nobody.
Oh, no. The last one there were double me. Now there's no me.
I'm just going to send you the thing and all right, recreate the episode and work around me. And I just think it'd be funny for you to do that and to see what kind of episode we would even come up with.
I could change completely everything I said too, because a voice actor just doing the different. Yes, I do like pea soup.
You're like, what? You're like, so we were going to the gym. Why were you going to see my dad?
Yeah. Like, why were you going to Hoopston, dude? You're like, and then we met this guy named Raymond. My dad doesn't know any Raymonds, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, just babbling on.
I'm so confused.
Anyway, guys, it's been a fun episode. You can check out the OGs on the Journey to Comics Network, wherever great podcasts are available. And, of course, you can also check out the Game Addicts podcast. That's the other show that I do on all those same places and on YouTube as well. The OGs will have its own YouTube channel where these videos are going to go up and live and maybe even get some little like exclusive tidbits and stuff going on over there as well as we move this show forward. Nate, once again, it's been a great time hanging out with you.
Dude, I'm so stoked to chat with you. I miss you guys a lot. I'm glad that we're able to do this in some capacity, and I can't wait for the next one, which is going to be whatever we want it to be.
Yeah, pretty much. As long as we can get a heads up, and because that way I can have my gaming podcasting space back here to myself at my own leisure, because babies and families and stuff. And I kind of made I kind of made her do like when I was doing my FF7 marathon. I kind of made her do quite a few nights where the baby had to be in there with her, and she was like, "You give me this many nights?" I'm like, yeah. If there's a note as to why I kind of backed off being a little bit active, that's because I, number one, needed the break because of how hard I worked, and two, I'm not going to push that button for a few weeks. Just chill out on my content creating, because I just made like 34 hours of content in 3 days.
Dust in the wind, bro.
Yeah,
dust in the wind.
Until next time, we've been Dust in the Wind. We've been the OGs. I've been Brando.
Oh, geez, I've been Nate.
We'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one.
Be safe and wash your fucking hands.
What he said.